Did your grandmother tell you to use castor oil for everything? She may have been right. As a matter of fact, modern research says she was right again. All right, this guest is known as the queen of castor oil. Look, we know it clears lymph. We know it clears the liver. It opens up detox outside of the cell. So it goes perfectly with cellular detox. But what about hormones, constipation, IBS? What about gut issues, microbiome? Oh yeah, wait till you hear the new science and wait till you hear the challenge that I'm going to do for 30 days. You may want to join me, but you're going to have to watch this show. Check it out.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cellular Healing TV. I'm Ashley Smith, and today we have an expert who will be talking all about the healing benefits of castor oil. Dr. Marisol is the proclaimed Queen of Thrones and will explain why daily castor oil packs can be therapeutic for liver detox, digestion, constipation, lymph, anxiety, and even hormone balance. I cannot wait to hear more about this simple tool we can all add to our toolbox. So let's get started and welcome Dr. Marisol and, of course, Dr. Pompa to the show. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you. Very excited
Yeah.
to be
Her smile outdoes me, Ashley. I mean, it's like, bam. I mean, I just
Lights up the screen. I agree.
I know. She just lights it up. As soon as I see her, I just start smiling. I don't know why. That's what I do.
It's good. It's my magical, mystical power.
You are the queen of castor oil and the queen of thrones. I don't know. It's just like, that's good branding, I think. But, every one of those topics you just like that. Every one of them, right? Okay, all of my viewers need to know this. All of my viewers want to know about every one of those subjects and how to use castor oil for it. Obviously I preach and teach detox, have for 20 years. And look, assisting detox, my cellular detox, it's a perfect match, right? Okay. And, people do saunas, Epsom salt baths, this and that. But, coffee enemas, there's a lot of things. But I think this takes a back seat, not because it deserves to take a back seat. I think that just the word maybe hasn't gotten out. So therefore, we brought the queen on to make sure that doesn't happen anymore. So we're going to assist our detox. We need to clear lymph. Yes. All those things are huge, right? We need to clear our liver, kidneys. And how in the world does castor oil do it? Okay, we're going to find out. But let's back up, though. Castor oil sounds like motor oil. This sounds unhealthy, maybe. But now, if you're my age, grandma used castor oil for every dang thing, okay? So let's be clear. But, I think new people, I think what I said to my son where I got that from, he's like, is that motor oil? Like, so, anyway. So what the heck is castor oil? Let's just start there.
I know, right? I felt the same way too. I remember my first experience seeing castor oil and being told about castor oil. I was working in natural health industry, going from health food store to health food store, practitioner's office, and I saw the castor oil on the table or on the lower bottom shelf at the health food store, and I'm like, what is that stuff? But what got it for me was that it kind of, I was really attracted to it, and I kept on seeing it anywhere and everywhere I would go, I would see castor oil. And so I started to realize that this was a real golden thread along natural health and the natural health industry. And actually, when I started researching it, I found the authentic roots of castor oil all the way dating back to Cleopatra, right before Christ, 4000 BC. Wow. With all the Egyptians. Yeah, major ancient mystical treatments, as well as our fathers of medicine, Hippocrates, the man known for, let your
father of medicine, right? Father of medicine.
That's right. Let your food be your medicine be your food, right? And that how health begins in the gut. And it's like all the different ancient medicine practices all used castor oil. So it was really incredible. And what this oil is it's truly a mystical oil. Its other name is known as the palm of Christ. So it is said to potentially be one of the oils that was used in the Bible or by Jesus Christ that was used to anoint the sick. And which is for me fascinating because I'm very spiritual.
I love that.
Yeah, very spiritual and mystical, and so it was used to help heal the sick in that way. Historically, castor oil was also used to elevate the kings and queens as they took their throne. One of the reasons I'm called the Queen of Thrones, that and about, I like to talk about poop, of course. And then in the clergy as well too, castor oil is one of the oils used to anoint as they moved up in their clergy. So it's said to be a vegetable oil. The leaves look like the palm of Christ. The bean is basically cold pressed, a good quality castor oil. Now, many of ones on the market are not good quality, which you have to be very, very careful about. But the best quality is a cold pressed castor oil. And this oil has so many healing benefits to it. Sometimes I feel that I'm speaking about snake oil, you know, the old connotation about how this oil does everything but does nothing. Well, castor oil it does everything. It says what it does and it does it, which is what makes it so spectacular.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about its benefits, right? I mean, I obviously I mentioned, how it can be assisted in detox. Oh, there's my wife. She should be listening to this conversation. But you also
a big bright smile.
Yeah, I know, right?
How are you?
She's beautiful, right? She just lights up the screen.
Love your haircut.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
nice to meet you. What's your name?
Marisol.
Marisol.
She is the queen of castor oil, literally.
Yeah.
And okay, so how does castor oil work for anxiety, right? I mean, we can talk about it clearing lymph in a moment in the detox. Let's get there.
Oh, I can't wait.
Hormones.
Send me some.
Hormones and anxiety. How does that work?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even understand that, maybe.
Awesome. Well, the thing is castor oil works for every condition, because castor oil, when used as a castor oil pack, which for those who don't know it, is basically a cotton compress. This is the one that we've created to make it really easy. You simply pour castor oil and you place it on your liver. So we made that really easy to do and easy to comply. When done as a castor oil pack, there are various mechanisms. Now, I love how you talked earlier on about cellular awakening and how you really focus on like cleaning out of the cells.
Mm-hmm.
The castor oil pack, and why it's a perfect marriage with cellular detox, is because castor oil packs tend to work more on the extracellular space.
Absolutely.
Right? And things that are happening within the extracellular space or in the compartment outside of the cell. So castor oil does 5 very important things, and I love using the acronym FAITH to remember it. So I'll guide you through it because it's just an easy way to remember. For F stands for function of digestion, absorption, and elimination. So castor oil, when you put it on your body, it'll help you. You put it on that night, but when you're eating your meals during the day, it'll actually help you to improve the function of how you're absorbing, how you're digesting, improving digestive factors like stomach acid, digestive enzymes, helping you to absorb all those good nutrients, all the phytonutrients that are going to help with your hormones, help with anxiety, making sure that you're getting all those things that you're lacking. And it's also going to help you to eliminate. Elimination is such a key factor in hormonal problems and anxiety problems. I mean, I have a history of hormonal and anxiety problems. And what I always noticed was that whenever I got constipated, my anxiety would kick up a notch. So it would be because I would be backing up of toxic substances that literally need to come out of your body.
Yeah.
And in hormones, of course, hormones, the biggest issue is it's these estrogens that, come out through the stools. So if you have excess estrogens and they're just staying in the body and being recirculated, well, then you just get a hormonal messy soup, right?
Oh, interesting.
So that's the first thing. Function, F, function of the digestion, absorption, and elimination. A stands for antioxidant status. So castor oil is actually an incredible source when it is cold pressed in a glass bottle, highest quality oil like the one that we have. It contains many phytonutrients, including well-known substances like glutathione, which is you and I probably our favorite master detoxification agent, right? That helps clean everything up. It contains high sources of vitamin E. The components of the essential fats in castor oil are a combination of omega 6s, like from linoleic acid, the same you get sesame oil. Also oleic acid, the same you'd get from olive oil. And a very important end result of what you get when you take omega-3s, which is basically the prostaglandins, because castor oil's molecular structure actually looks like a prostaglandin, the end result of what you get when you take your fish oil. So you now don't have to, manufacture from the fish oil down to the prostaglandins with the actual castor oil pack.
Well, exactly. And I'm not a fan of fish oil because of it's rancid, right? So, but we do want the prostaglandins. So this is a bypass, and that's cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. And the cool thing with castor oil too is that, I'm sure some people have in their minds right now, what are you do? You're telling me to put castor oil on this compress on it and then absorb it through my skin. How is this oil going to be able to do it? But it does it because it's the most unique of all vegetable oils. If you want to go on like a geek out on the science, biochemically, the main component of castor oil has an alcohol group on one of the carbons. So this makes it able and the proper molecular weight to be the only oil that can go through all the layers of the skin and actually go straight directly into the lymphatic system, in the dermis, and the circulatory system.
Oh, wow.
So really phenomenal. Yeah. And we're only at the second letter of the word faith. Oh. Like, whoa. And, after that, all that goodness and nourishment and that you get in your body that are, antioxidants that we are so depleted in this day and age with all the stress we have and all the, toxicity in our environment and, lead in the air from the time they used lead gasoline, and I could, go on and go on and go on. Then, there's always a byproduct, and the body responds to all these problems. And it does one important mechanism of action that we see pervasive and we see throughout every single condition, which is inflammation, right? Yeah. That silent killer that causes so many problems. So castor oil, and the castor oil pack, when you place it on your body, one of its main action is to help with balancing and regulating, not totally taking out inflammation, because inflammation also is very healing, but it balances and regulates it. And when that happens in the extracellular space, well, then your cells can breathe. Your cells can breathe. They can take in all that goodness and they can eliminate what they need to eliminate out of the cell, move it to the extracellular space, and then move it out to the digestive tract or, the water soluble pathways and be eliminated out of the body. So, that's a pretty cool mechanism of action. And when you wear the castor oil pack over your liver, you're doing an extra added bonus, is that you're actually helping the liver to detoxify and cleanse better, because you're reducing the inflammation directly in that area. And well, the liver being so bombarded by having to cleanse and purify so many different chemicals and hormones and extra cholesterol and all the, things that we have going on in our body, when it starts to lose its function, it gets inflamed. And so that's a way that we can preserve our youth and our energy and feel better and feel, less weight around our center and all this good stuff that you get when you have less inflammation in your central core.
Right.
Super cool.
Yeah.
And then you asked about anxiety. So the letter T, which stands for the reduction of tension and stress. The aspect of actually placing the compress on the body, what this does is these compresses, you want them to be a very, very soft flannel material. So this is like a cotton Sherpa. It's organic, of course, because we don't want to be processing or delivering toxins into the body.
Right.
This soft material and the way that it is displayed on the body, what it does is it stimulates and triggers the receptors on the skin, as does the castor oil, because of the texture of castor oil. For all those viewers and listeners who've ever played or touched castor oil, it's a lot thicker than all the different other types of oils. It's just got a completely different consistency. Mm-hmm. So when on the body, it triggers those receptors, and those receptors message the ganglions, or like the networks that communicate to the central nervous system and to the brain. And it actually stimulates hormonal productions and neurotransmitter productions. One of my favorite hormones that it triggers is oxytocin.
Yeah.
You know, oxytocin being that hormone slash neurotransmitter that balances out cortisol in your body and reduces stress, makes you feel good, makes you feel connected to Mother Nature, to Earth, to everything, you know, spiritually as well too. They often say that, you know, castor oil packs is a way that we can get connected to our soul and our own like guidance in terms of how to heal from a spiritual perspective as well too, not just physical. You know, so such great stuff. There's also demonstration that when you stimulate these receptors with soft material, you're also stimulating, and that oil, you're stimulating the dopamine production, which is also a great neurotransmitter that makes you feel well and makes you feel rewarded in life. So just a great way to, you know, end the day doing your castor oil pack in that evening point in time, going to sleep, having a great night's sleep, and just really like circling in to have a great day. And then the final thing it does, which is, you know, already such a great long list of these foundational things that really help your body to, you know, like set well, is that you become the host with the mostest. And what I mean by host is not that you're having parties all the time and everyone loves you, but that's also a good benefit because you'll feel better, have more energy, you know, you'll just feel less stress, so you'll be able to do those things. But we host trillions of microbes on our skin and in our digestive tract. And castor oil has been shown to be incredibly effective to not only help to break down biofilm, and this is research that's done in periodontal medicine, great research studies done out of Brazil, comparing it to conventional biofilm breakdown substances that are chemical. Castor oil is one of those natural substances that breaks down biofilm and helps to reset a good balance of good bacteria versus the bad bacteria in your body. Yeah. So, you know, the fact that there aren't too many substances that actually effectively break down biofilm in the gut. And, you know, biofilm is one of those things for people out there, you know, if you've been taking, you know, probiotics for a long time and you're just like, I don't know if it's working. It maybe worked a little bit at the beginning, but not so much now. Do I need to keep on taking it? Well, of course you need to keep on taking probiotics because our guts are constantly changing. But more importantly, you need to be supporting and breaking down the biofilm that the bad bacteria create. That is almost like their cocoon that they protect themselves, right? So that you can't repopulate with the good stuff. So when you're doing these packs, you actually help to like remake that biofilm into healthy biofilm and change the environment and make it healthy. So, you know, that's why I say for so many people who've struggled with their health, you know, they feel that they've done, you know, patchwork and improvement in certain areas, but they're missing some keys. Well, it's all about going back to that basic foundation, you know, rebuilding our faith in our body's ability that it can heal by, of course, you know, improving the function of the digestive system and elimination, of course, you know, getting those good antioxidants. This is the same thing that I know you preach a lot too, right? Lots of good antioxidants, you know, balancing out that inflammation, reducing the tension and stress in the body, and improving our ability to be a great host and have good microbes. And, you know, when you add a tool like this into a nightly practice or daily, that really is supportive for your body, I love to compare it to the parable that's in the Bible about building a house on a rock versus building a house on sand. So when you do castor oil, building a rock, you're building your house, your temple on a rock that is solid, that no matter what wind comes, no matter what storm may arise, you've built an incredible foundation, versus building your temple, your house on sand, that the minute a wind comes, the minute a storm occurs, you just don't have the ability to be flexible and to be standing strong in your foundation.
So you mentioned, you know, obviously applying it to liver. Let's get into the how-to, right? You know, how long do you have to do that? How much do you have to put on? And can it be used on other parts of the body, right? And so let's go through on all the how-tos and how and where we use it and when.
Love it. So what I did is, for me, one of the things and one of the challenges with castor oil in the beginning of my practice, and even for myself, because I was told to do castor oil packs for 10 years, I think 10 to 15 years. And I refused to do them because the way that they were done in the past was messy, challenging, too many steps. You had to go find I'm sure you remember, right? Like it was find this, find that, go there. Like, who has time for that in our day and age?
My first experience with it was, it unclogged breast. Not me, my wife.
Yeah.
My experience, like, there's a breast duct that's clogged. Castor oil, right?
Yeah.
And dealing with that, it was like, oh my gosh, it's like horrible. It was,
so messy, so messy. So I knew more than anything in my clinical practice, I do a lot of cleansing and detox like you. And what I saw was that if it wasn't easy, people just wouldn't comply and they just wouldn't do it. It would just be that barrier. So, and I realized myself, I was the perfect patient. I wasn't doing it either because I was like, this is too much. So when I got really sick, I finally created a tool to make it easy to do. And it was really what created a strong foundation in my health. Since doing castor oil packs, I feel more vibrant than I have at 25. I had a fatty liver, I had PCOS, I have none of those signs. And it's not like I live a totally angelic life where I, don't drink or don't do anything ever. I believe in a nice balance of discipline and indulgence. Like living life, but, not going too crazy on either end. And that, because I feel is, and I see with my patients too, because it's really been that thing that really changes the needle when they do these castor oil packs. So I created this really easy tool, all in one, a little kit. It's got all the components to make it easy to do. This is a project that is 10 to 12 years in the making now. So this has been 10 years. This is model number, I think like 10 or 12, because I change a little bit of it every single year, and it's drastically different from the first model. So this is definitely the easiest, and all we get is great feedback from people about how easy, and they can do it every night and they just love it. So you have this, one side is soft, and that's the side, as I said earlier, you want to put on your skin because that's going to trigger all those good hormones like oxytocin, dopamine. The soft side on the body, and the outside is a healthy polyurethane that's made without any chemicals. It's the healthiest thing that you can use. Same kind of material that we use for reusable baby diapers that are organic. Very, very healthy, and this kind of creates a barrier for the oil. So that makes it easy to use and reusable. Like anything, these packs have a life, so it's somewhere between 2 to 3 months with consistent use. You want to renew it and get a new one. All you do is simply pour your first time 2 tablespoons of organic castor oil in a glass bottle. It cold pressed, hexane free. You absolutely need to be looking for all these things because there is so much.
And we're gonna provide a link for all this, which is good. So okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So there's so many castor oils out in the market that are not cold pressed, are not hexane free. Ours is actually the very first batch, which gives it all of those high levels of antioxidants like the glutathione, the vitamin E, all those things that you're looking for. So that's what I pride myself in, making sure it's the best of the quality. So you're really looking for that. That's incredibly key. And also because castor oil is that one oil that acts as a carrier. People love their essential oils. Castor oil is the best oil to use to bring the essential oil into the body. But if it's in plastic, which most on Amazon and everywhere else are in plastic, you're also going to be carrying plastic into your body. So it won't become what you're looking for, right? So you really need good quality. So the first time you do the pack, you put 2 tablespoons of oil. Each time after that, only 1, and less as you go, which also makes it more affordable because, the old recommendations to do the pack was to use basically like half a bottle on one shot. It was a real waste, right? And it wasn't needed. So you take the pack, and then I'm going to stand up here. You place it on your liver, which is underneath your right rib cage, and you simply attach it, right? You simply attach it, nice and simple. We often recommend for people to do it at nighttime. And the reason being is because at night, it calms you down, improves your digestion. The liver tends to cleanse between the hours of 1 and 3 a.m. so that, we're optimizing all of that functionality of the body, and you sleep great. Like that's and you usually wake up in the morning and have a great bowel movement as well. So for most cases. And so, we want to encourage those natural cycles in people and have them honor them. So that's an easy way to do it. I recommend nightly for people, also knowing that people may not do it nightly, right? If we say nightly, then they might do it 4 or 5 times a week. But ideally, if you want to get that effect of especially improving things like your microbiome, you require at least a minimum of 7 days in a row. And the reason for that is that on 7 days, castor oil also stimulates nitric oxide production, which is a natural anti-aging, but anti-inflammatory, but also super important for circulation. And nitric oxide is what helps to regulate that microbiome. So it's one of the reasons I love beets and different vegetables that have lots of nitric oxide. So put it on the abdomen. On the liver is the ideal. Many women who have hormonal problems like, say, PCOS or uterine fibroids or ovarian cysts, they can also place it on their pelvic region, so right around their hip bones. And that, I say to do that one night there, one night on the liver, because the source of the problem is still the liver, right? Because the hormones need to process. Right. But to do it locally, you know, I've seen results in terms of reduction of size of cysts, fibroids. You know, there's a lot of eclectic use there. A lot of people discuss how incredible it works for different masses of the body, cysts anywhere, right? Or even stretch marks. So women post-birth, you know, they can wear the castor oil pack to help with reduction of the stretch marks, or if they've had, you know, excessive weight gain and then loss, another way that you can help to get your skin back into normal areas, because, you know, castor oil also works on scar tissue, and a stretch mark is basically a scar tissue that hasn't healed properly. So you want to use that castor oil to heal it. So that's another place you can use it. Another area that's really great is directly over the digestive system. You know, I recommend this for patients when they have really bad digestion and they see a lot of undigested food in their stools. I tell them to do the packs during their biggest meal of the day. So then that way they can get a bit more better digestion. You can use it on musculoskeletal problems, anything from a joint pain in the hip or a sciatica. It's exceptional for low back pain, or if you're feeling tension in your adrenals, or if you're very, very stressed, or you feel that you've got tension in your kidneys, or maybe your doctor's told you that, you know, you're not processing well from your kidneys. Place a castor oil pack over your kidney. You can use this pack is exceptional over breast tissue as well too. It's actually formed perfectly in order to be able to cover the breast area. So you can use that for ducts, right? If there's a clogged duct, if there's a worry or concern, maybe a history in the family line of breast cancer or any issues with breasts, heavy cystic breasts, you can use the castor oil pack there. In naturopathic school, I actually started using them as a neck pack because I was so tense and stressed. So I would just use my castor oil like that as a pack, and it just would feel really good and would reduce all the tension and stress in my neck. So
what's the minimum time you need for it to work, and what's the maximum time?
Great question. So minimum is about an hour. So it's all you need is a simple hour. So some people don't want to wear it overnight, so they just wear it for an hour before they go to bed. Others love to wear it overnight. And I do believe you do get a little bit more of a benefit if you wear it overnight, just because you have that constant contact over the skin. But a little bit is better than nothing. So at least that hour is golden. Some women who are menopausal, a lot of hot flashes and night sweats, they don't quite like wearing it at night at first because they feel it just increases their body temperature. So for those people, I always say, you know, really great if you wear it in the morning for about an hour, and then over time they'll notice, you know, their hot flashes start to diminish, their night sweats are reducing, and then I say, you know, then move it towards the evening, because then you'll notice that you'll get even more benefit. So you kind of let you work with it as a tool that is really, you know, all encompassing, no matter what the condition is. The only time you don't use a castor oil pack is when you're pregnant. Other than that, when you're pregnant, and then if you're trying to conceive, you just have to work on a little bit of a schedule, where if you're trying to conceive, you use the castor oil pack for fertility from the time that you bleed at the beginning of your period to about 15 days in, and then you stop. And then you start again only when you bleed, and then you stop again after 12 to 15 days. So we're kind of working after.
Okay, so wait, you're saying around the woman's cycle.
Right.
Okay, so say it one more time.
Yeah. So if you're working on fertility, trying to conceive, PCOS person, somewhere along those lines, you start wearing the pack when you're bleeding. So that right as your period starts, you start doing your castor oil pack. then count 12 to 15 days. And you might already be monitoring your ovulation, or you can feel like the Mitzelschmerz, which is like that sensation that you get a little contraction in the lower pelvic region. If you feel that, then you stop doing the pack. Or if you know, like you get moody or however you feel your ovulation, just stop the pack about 12 to 15 days around that area and then go without the pack. And then the minute you start bleeding again, start it up again.
Got it.
That's the easiest way to do it, but it's so versatile. And then I even got to experimenting, because what I had realized was that I said, it's amazing, all these ancient practitioners, Cleopatra, Hippocrates, Galen, the father of the humors, like the black bile and all this cool stuff that he used to talk about it that caused disease. I thought, what's really interesting is if castor oil packs works all over the trunk area of the body, would it potentially also work on the face aspect?
I was going to ask that. That was my next question.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm reading your mind tonight. Well, because there was a lot of talk in terms of, Cleopatra was said to be so beautiful because of castor oil. And when I had so many different patients from so many different cultures, many of them would say about how they were using castor oil for beauty uses. And I realized that the history of castor oil goes much deeper than just even Hippocrates and Galen, the traditional Chinese medical doctors, to the emperors, Pliny the Elder, the doctor to the medicine man, to the emperors of Rome, the Ayurvedic tradition, all using it for health, but that there was an entire area of the Mediterranean that was using it for beauty, in terms of hair and in terms of face. So I started experimenting with actually doing a castor oil pack for the eyes. And what we realized was this: research demonstrated that, when you wear an eye mask such as this, so this is our little eye mask that we use. So when you wear an eye mask to go to bed, you actually naturally increase your melatonin in your body. Yeah, just again, it's the same principle where the castor oil pack on the body, you're stimulating those receptors and you're building oxytocin and dopamine and all that goodness. When you do the eye mask, you actually start to build more melatonin. And what was an amazing clincher for me here was that I had always seen in a lot of research about how women, as they aged, and what was a prognostic factor for like a hormonal cancer later on, was that all these women were having a major decline in melatonin over time. And many women can't take melatonin. Some can, and I always recommend for them to take it if they can. But if they couldn't, how were they to get and improve their melatonin? And some just didn't want to take an extra supplement. So then what I would do, I would have them do these castor oil packs, basically apply castor oil all over around the eye, because that helps with collagen production. It helps to reduce the wrinkling around the eye. Like it is incredible. Like it'll help to actually improve eyebrow growth and eyelash growth. A lot of this effect is because of the nitric oxide producing capacity, and nitric oxide stimulates the circulation to the area. And as we age, because of stress and tension in our neck muscles, all the circulation really diminishes in this area. So you reduce a lot of the nourishment and a lot of the blood flow, and that makes us age faster. And castor oil, because of its improvement of glutathione, works on age spots, melasma for those who have hormonal issues. Like it really has so many. It's honestly.
Yeah, you answered one of the questions I have is, can you just put it on topically, right? Yeah. But it is thick. So when is the best time to do that?
Yeah. So always at night. So we have a lot of guidance about this in terms of the beauty aspect. You can either use castor oil as a castor oil face wash. So it's the same principle as oil pulling in the mouth, where we also recommend castor oil to oil pull. For those who don't know about oil pulling, it's basically a way to clean your oral cavity. Ancient traditions often used sesame oil and coconut oil, but you had to do it for 20 minutes. With castor oil, you only do it for 1 to 2 minutes, and it's only one.
Swallow it.
No, if you swallow it, then you're going to be going to the bathroom a little bit later on. So, and we don't really necessarily want you to swallow it, because you are literally cleaning that oral cavity and exchanging the good, bad bacteria for the good bacteria. But it helps incredibly the same way on the face. So you can do a face wash where you steam your face with a hot cloth. You apply castor oil, a little divot of castor oil to your palm. You mix it up in your hand, and then you pat it gently all over your face. And then you take that same steamed cloth and then wipe it off. Your skin feels like a baby's bottom. There's honestly no cream, no anything that will ever create that on your skin. So it's something for everyone to try. It really is phenomenal how it nourishes. And what it does is, you know, for those who have acne, any type of hormonal problem or skin issue, it changes the bacteria that's on our skin, therefore creating less acne. And then of course it nourishes the skin as well too deeply. So, and it helps with the anti-aging and all those changes in colors that you may be having on your skin as well too. And around the eyes, the reason why we want to put that eye mask is because, well, we want it to permeate very deeply into the skin, because we really, this is a place that really shows the aging really rapidly. So just an incredible tool in that way. So we've called it the original cleanse, where people do that original castor oil pack, you know, on the liver, like the ancients, Hippocrates and such recommended, and the way that Cleopatra used it all over her eyes, and that we wear an eye mask to block out the light, sleep better, and also improve that melatonin naturally, which also is an aid in anti-aging.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Super
So what
cool.
is your story? What is your story? I mean, you got into this for a reason. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, my entire life I was suffering greatly with IBS. I started as a young child where it was constant constipation and anxiety. So those were the two major factors that I was dealing with a lot. I suffered incredibly. My mother suffered as well from the same anxiety as well as constipation. My father, on the other hand, was IBS. So, you know, there was part genetic, part environmental, how I grew up, the foods that I was eating, many I was sensitive to. But along my lifetime, I never really realized that, you know, constipation was a problem, because it was what, or having too much diarrhea, because it was what was happening in my family. So I just thought, I thought it was normal. You know, if you go every 3 days, every 5 days, no big deal. You know, even though you feel really anxious, it's not a problem. And I really wasn't connected to my body, and I didn't understand what was going on. So, and then as I got older, you know, my period came on very late. I started dealing with sugar problems. And of course, you know, suddenly here I am with PCOS on top of IBS, right? So I've got this hormonal mix with problems going to the bathroom. I felt devastated because I really felt that I was trying everything. The doctors that I went to go visit, you know, with IBS would be like, I'm sorry about your luck. There's nothing you can do. You know, I even didn't get very good care necessarily in the naturopathic treatments that I'd gotten, because it was very just superficial things. It really wasn't doing anything to work on the root cause. Like I didn't discover my food sensitivities till, you know, I finally really pushed to get them tested. So I ended up, because of this, I had seen a doctor with my PCOS, and they told me that I probably wouldn't be able to have babies, and that, you know, because of my issues with food, that, you know, it was like, good luck, Charlie, like you're just always going to be dealing with this stuff. And it was my instigator to go back to school and become a naturopathic doctor, because I was already working in the natural industry as a pharmaceutical representative for a natural homeopathic pharmaceutical company that I, you know, learned so much in Germany. I was learning and training, and, you know, became their scientific advisor. So I had such a great concept about you know, the study of toxins in the human system, and I knew there had to be a solution. I just hadn't found it yet. So I went back to school, and of course, I'm loving what I'm learning, but I'm stressed to the max. And, you know, my IBS worsens, even though I'm doing all the right things. I'm eating the right diet, the naturopathic diet, I'm taking all the right supplements, I'm exercising the way I'm told to do it, you know, but everything was in excess. And with the excessive stress, I just crashed. So I, you know, was diagnosed then with chronic fatigue. And I was like, how did I get here? I have been doing everything right, especially during naturopathic school. I've been doing everything right. And then I just realized that, you know, the biggest problem was that my foundation wasn't right. Solid. And I was reminded at that point in time that the one thing that I didn't try, because I was doing everything from IVs, colon hydrotherapy. The one thing I hadn't tried, but the one thing that along my entire journey, everyone was telling me to do, like from the time I was working for that company, you know, from the naturopathic doctors I had seen to the in naturopathic school, you know, every condition they were saying, you know, and do castor oil pack. Don't forget to do a castor oil pack.
Wow.
The one thing that I didn't do was a castor oil pack. And then
that's funny.
I created it. And then from there, I did it every day, like diligently. Like I made I made it my religion, and I just started seeing the changes. I was able to get out of bed because I was so bedridden. I couldn't even finish I was almost unable to finish my last semester of naturopathic college. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, so I really, I've gone through the journey of understanding that hormonal, like, you know, unbalancing, how unbalanced you feel with those hormonal problems, how you lose all faith in your body's ability to even get better when you're dealing with such digestive disorders, and you realize that, you know, like you're not even able to nourish yourself properly and feel vibrant. Like I always felt just fatigued and foggy brained, and I just felt horrible, right? And I'm sure there's no different than what people are feeling out there. And it was and this was the clincher. It's not like I stopped taking supplements or stopped doing any of my other detoxes that I was doing. I still do those. Yeah. But this allowed me to do those and them to work even better. Right. Yeah. So that I was just like, oh, like I dropped like 10, 15 pounds. I'm at the best weight of my life. Like I feel better than ever. Like it's just it's so wonderful. And the best thing about this is that now I'm sharing it with the world. And the comments that we get are like, it's a rarity to see anything where people are not loving it. Like everyone's like, what a change in my life. This is like solidifying everything that I'm doing in my practice. Everything is working better. You know, my doctor's happy, everyone's happy, you know, and I really feel that it's the way that I'm helping to change the world. One person, one castor oil pack at a time, just getting them to do those grassroots mystical medicine that have its roots back in the day, that now is being supported by incredible science that is showing that castor oil has all these properties. Like the research that's come out in the past 20 years on castor oil is phenomenal. Like from the fact that it stimulates nitric oxide, that it works as good as, you know, capsaicin and other anti-inflammatories, you know, the fact that in a old age home, they compared it to laxatives and they found that it was, you know, as good as laxatives without any of the bad side effects of laxatives in terms of like, you know, urgency. Yeah. So all this, and then the periodontal research that just came out in 2017, like just so cool, you know, and they're continuing in medicine to utilize castor oil in terms of, you know, a way to bring in medicines deeper into the body. Like it is a spectacular medicine. And I truly firmly believe that, you know, there's a movie I always reference to, My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Yeah, I remember.
You remember the dad and the Windex? And
yes.
Put Windex on it. Put Windex on it. Well,
right.
My patients all laugh at me because they're all like, you're like the father from the Big Fat Greek Wedding. Instead of, for you, it's not Windex. For you, it's like castor oil. Put castor oil.
You know, I'm telling you, my grandmother, it's like, you know, Dad, she was right again. It's like I go back, you know, my father was the bricklayer who knew nothing about medicine, but knew everything about medicine. Now I'm looking back, it was my grandmother's influence on him. Oh my God.
And you know, and when I talk to patients, it's amazing. Like those of Caribbean descent, Mediterranean descent, Spanish descent, you know, like all the cultures that have a lot of indigenous, Native American, or like castor oil was everywhere.
That was my Italian descent. So obviously in Italy, it must have been a thing. So.
And you know, in Italy, there's interesting about it because there's some Italians who really don't love castor oil, because in fascist Italy, Mussolini was using castor oil as a torture tool. So he was actually using castor oil because he would have people have such bad diarrhea that then they would actually give up the evidence, right? They would. It
shows you it was in the culture, right? I mean, obviously they were using it, just doing it this way. Yeah.
They knew about it. And then, you know, once I reformulate that mindset about castor oil, how it's just really, really good for you. You just need to know how to use it properly. And it's the same for the world, right? Right now, people may, like pharmacists and in conventional medical circles, you know, in the hospitals, they used to actually use castor oil in OBGYNs. All the OBGYNs would use it for labor. And now there's many, it's not just one or two, there's many orthopedic surgeons who are using the castor oils post hip replacement surgery.
Oh, wow.
Because the healing is faster and it speeds up things. And, I just had a patient the other day come in and say, did you know that my hip surgeon just recommended for me to do a castor oil pack on my hip? And she goes, I've already got it covered. My naturopath has been telling me, and I've been doing them for years. So I got the pack and everything.
All right. So here's what I'm going to do. You convinced me, right? I love doing things. So I'm going to commit to doing it every day for a month. Oh, and my wife, because she popped in, I'm going to commit her to it. So I need a new one, and I'm going to, both of us, and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it for 30 days. I'm a very disciplined person. And then we'll do another show in the future, and I'm going to tell my experience. So, you know what? I challenge anyone watching me, do it with me. Why wouldn't you? Look, Grandma was right. I think, modern science has caught up to why it works so well. So, but I got to do it myself. Otherwise, what am I doing? I have to live it to lead it. So Ashley join me on this little venture for a month, but she better actually, because then she can share her experience too.
Amazing. So, and you'll see the difference. And then, along the journey, then you start to learn all the other uses of castor oil. And then, really it's the thing I travel with the most. It's like I made a travel size bottle. We have our cosmetic kit that comes with the eye mask for the beauty. Like this one has a little travel size bottle, not that I'm traveling much right now, but it's the most important thing, like for me, because it's just that it can work for so many different things. One other little quick the recipe I'll leave everyone with is a save the day salve. So all you do is mix castor oil with baking soda, and it works on all types of skin problems, including mosquito bites, sunburns, ringworm, fungal toenails. It has an effect on eczema and psoriasis. I mean, it keeps on going, the benefits of it.
Oh my gosh. All right, we'll have you on again. We're going to do our little experiment for fun. I love doing things like this. And we have to do it. So Marisol, thank you. Gosh, that's what a wealth of knowledge. That was the easiest interview I ever had to do. You handled it. You knew exactly what you had to cover for the people watching. So no, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thanks for being on, and stay tuned, folks. Challenge right here. We'll put the link to get it. And welcome. Let's do it. 30 days. Let's do this. Let's commit to this. So all right, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, that's it for this week. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. We'll be back next week and every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. We truly appreciate your support. You can always find us at cellularhealing.tv, and please remember to spread the love by liking, subscribing, giving an iTunes review, or sharing the show with anyone who may benefit from the information heard here. And as always, thanks for listening.